If you are a wallflower, do not watch this video. This is a major spiritual butt kick. Well, it's my style. It's my channel. If you don't like it, well, there's some really cool teachers out there. Eckhart Tolle is one. That is not my channel. I'm going to talk to you today about the limited time you have, linear time, as this human being experience exactly who you are, which is 1 in a billion experiences that you will have, but you want to get this one right for you. How do we do this? I'm going to lay it out there for you. And if you can do this every day, what I'm about to share with you, you can shift into a completely amazing reality. It exists right here with all the stuff going on out there. Are you ready to do that? Spiritual butt kick. Come on. Don't be afraid. Come on. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fear and live an amazing life. All right, so I have a couple thousand videos. I want to share something with you because I know you're here for a reason, and that is you want to go to that space that is peaceful and happy and awakened and abundant. You want to eliminate all the things that you're doing that you know aren't good for you or anybody else. You may not know how to do that. And so many of you believe you're awakened, and then you look at others as those who are not going to go where you are. That's not awakening. Awakening does not have rules or judgment about that. It just knows when it's in that space, and no thinking occurs there. So somebody was talking about being diabetic or this and that, and anger came out. And I saw the hurt in this person, of the fear that was showing up. And I hear it in so many of your voices. I get it, Landria. I get it. Wow. Holy cow. I now can love that person who's a Democrat. Or I can love that person who's a Republican. Oh, because they grew up a certain way and they think that. Oh, no, I can just love them for who they are. Who are you? That was a total blatant ego-based statement, but we don't hear it. The effing density wall is so freaking thick. It's going to take a bulldozer to get through it because we don't hear ourselves still talking in that lower density form. Even though you say, I'm going into love for them, the ones that are wrong, the ones that don't believe what I do, because what I believe is right is still the lower density. It's no higher than the other people who are doing blatant, nasty stuff. It is no higher. It isn't. You can say you love somebody, but that's not love, and that's not acceptance. That's judgment, and that is separation. And as long as those two exist in your world, you cannot go to another dimension. Let's not even say 5D anymore. You're not going to go into that space where no arguments are required. No sides are required. Nobody cares about color or culture or education or even money, because when everybody's giving, we won't need money. Somebody said, when do you see us going into that? I said, when we are just giving all the time. Even though we're having to receive money to pay our bills now in order to do that, because I'd rather give doing something I love and be paid for that than doing something destructive. When we come out of the destructive way of earning money, then everybody's going to put what they're doing first, and that's a super high frequency, so money won't matter anymore. Because when we're giving and we really care about the other person and what we're contributing, everybody's going to be giving. So when everybody's giving, there's no lack, right? Money is, in most cases, something that people believe that there's a lack of, or that they struggle with. And so there is a whole focus and quantum focus on creating that money is some tricky thing, something that's elusive or there's lack of. And so they're striving to get the money. And so there's no focus on the quality of life or what we're giving. And I get it, because we've been programmed to do this. All of us, we came into this Congratulations. You're a rock star. You're a freaking rock star. But I'm going to tell you right now, I want you to take a really good look and ask yourself if you're still dividing yourself. Somebody said, oh my gosh, your videos have changed my life and it's been amazing and I get it. But, there's no buts on my channel. But Landria, what if there was the they, and they are going to force us to do that, and why is this virus happening? We created it because we're ready to force the globe to make some major changes. It's a good thing. I know this because there's a lot of people that would have just left the planet with the flu or an accident or something else who have decided to go this way to amplify this issue that we have on the planet that needs to be looked at regarding how we work, how we live, how we treat each other. It's all coming to the forefront. This is good stuff, people. What if they make me take a vaccination? Don't take the effing thing. Take it, don't take it. Why do you have to discuss it? I want you to ask yourself, what's happening right now? What's happening right now? Am I living right now, or am I living in this crap, a story? And all I hear all day long is the story, the story, the story. The story. You create stories. Somebody wrote me, she's a spiritual teacher, she's a healer. She's petrified of losing her kids. I said, how can you be a spiritual teacher if you believe that anybody can end? Or that you will be separated from them? That is so the opposite of being a spiritual teacher. There's no end to anything. This is a temporary existence. And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody is part of you. You never lose them. I never lost my family. People are like, wow, you handle that so well. I said, what's not to handle? We're all going to die. We're all going to leave these bodies. I want you to think about this. You know those people see orbs? Those are people. Their energy fields, they were once people. And they were once a billion, gazillion other things. But there's that concentration of energy that stores and is all of those things that they have experienced. And so when those orbs come in the room, what are they? They're you without a body. That's it. That's you. When you leave this body, that's going to be you. You're just light. And you won't know what color somebody was, or what neighborhood they came from, or if they killed somebody. We're just going to see the energy fields of people, not to be judged about the experience that got them in there, but their choices, and your choices and my choices place us in a frequency. That's all it is. Okay, I'm going to go into this frequency, and you don't want to stay in a lower frequency if you desire to go into the fifth dimension. If you don't desire, you may have to play out some stuff here. But it's time to start listening to yourself. Are you still talking about they and the what ifs and, I can love them? Break through the effing wall. The density. It's so thick we don't even hear our spiritual selves talking that way. It's insanity. I read these things and I'm thinking, oh my, they didn't even hear what they just said. They're still talking about the material world and the separation, what's going on. It's just a play, people, and you're creating it. And your focus on it is actually fueling it. So you're going to participate in that world that you're talking about. I'm not even looking at it. Why? Because it's irrelevant to me. It's all about my frequency, what I'm doing in my situations with my own lessons. So when things come along and you may get triggered, you say, okay, what am I going to do in this situation? Because it's not about the situation. It's about my choice. Is it a higher or lower frequency? Am I listening to myself? Am I saying, oh, I can love them even though they're blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. So somebody said, I told a story about how in the middle of an intersection, I opened my door and talked to a black man who walked up to my door. Well, there was nobody around. This was right during all the violent stuff going here in Atlanta. They were burning stuff. There's some racial things going on, but I think it's not us against each other. I think it's a frustration of the inequality that's been going on forever. That's what I feel. I don't feel it's personal. I feel that it's an individual experience. And so we have to bring it to the forefront that We're not separate anymore. So this young man, he did not feel threatened, came up to my door. And so he asked me for money. He told me my dress was out the door, which was cool. I thanked him. He asked me for money. I said, yeah, I happen to have a bag of quarters, probably 20 bucks. It was no big deal. I handed it to him. I didn't worry about my purse that was sitting there. Why? There was a human being standing there. Now somebody said, how would you have felt a few years ago if that was a white man? I would have felt exactly the same way. You see, the thing is, it wasn't about his color so much as what's going on in the world. And I knew that there's racial tension around there. However, I saw a person standing in front of me. And when you stop painting that person with the same color that the world appears to you, you will see their light. So it didn't matter what color it was. Tell the truth, white man, equal. Equal, okay? For me, it was about being alone, a white woman in a BMW in a very, very high crime rate area with no one around at a stoplight, opening the door for somebody who was obviously, I think he was homeless. I don't know. It was irrelevant to me. What's your interaction with that split-second moment without the story that goes around it? I didn't have a story when I did that. It was not a big deal. But the thing is most of us do walk around in fear with the story. So when we see something, we have a story. We've already painted them. My friend who said, all my family, they grew up in the South and they think that way. Really, I'm in the South. I don't know anybody who thinks that way, that you're talking about the political thing. All my friends have completely different opinions. And we never discuss them. Why? Because it's irrelevant. They're allowed to think what they are, but we don't need the N-word. You know I don't like the N-word because we don't really need anything. We don't need to push what we believe and think on somebody else according to the experience that we've had on this planet. That's all you're pushing is a story on somebody else. And guess what? In a few years you may look back and think, oh my God, I can't even believe I thought that. It was irrelevant. Are you still telling a story? Are you still separating yourself? Are you still loving somebody despite that? Well, we do it. We've all done it. We've all judged. We've all been there. It's part of our evolution. And some have broken through that and others are still stuck in it. And if you're fearing anything, especially death, seriously, I'm like, okay, how much longer do I have to do this? And I'm going to be around a while. I don't know what the future brings, but I know one thing. Until I take my last breath in this body, I'm going to freaking do my best. And that means every thought. That means whatever comes in that I feel is negative and observing it and not reacting to it. That means teaching what I know. That means spreading nothing but positive frequencies. That means not using negativity to gain. And all of you can do this. Every single one of you have these capabilities. There's no one who has more power over another. Not one. Your spiritual butt kick today is take a real good hard look at what you're saying and believing. It's talking about the spirituality. But what if they? There's always a they. The whole planet, the whole thing is about the they. There's no separation. The they is another density to you that's testing you. Get it? They are your teachers. And it'll end. This is where we go into the fifth dimension. We don't need it anymore. No lessons required, I get it. Nothing can rattle you anymore. And you go into a space where it doesn't really matter what happens. Because you're at peace in here. You're at peace in here. And you stop looking at there because higher frequencies detach from the material world. That is what a higher frequency is. It detaches from the material world. And guess what happens in that space? Anything. Healing, miracles. And when you detach from a body that is getting pelted with chemicals or worries or whatever, when you detach from that, you heal. Why? Because there's no thoughts anymore. There's no anger. Anger is, I've heard many teachers Spiritual teachers say that the root of cancer is usually anger of some kind. That seems to go along with it. What do you want? You get to choose. It's not for me to say that you should do anything. But I know you're here because you desire it. I know you're here because you want this world of yours to shift. But when you stop wanting that to change and this changes, that's going to look totally different. I don't see the world the way you do when you write me those emails. Long emails about my life and this and that. You are nothing. You're a light being. Toss the story out the window, because you can change that story. In fact, you can change your past story. You can say, wow, I was a challenged child, and I went through all these things. I learned so much from my best teachers were the ones that were tough on me, and I learned how to forgive. You can see your own past completely different. You can change your past just like this. It's all a choice about a frequency on how you see and view everything, and that creates your reality. You don't shift physically into anything. You shift into a higher frequency that exists in a different plane. So what happens is others in that frequency, in the penthouse, not down in the basement, they get to see each other. They're aligned. And so they're the ones that come together in the community that creates housing for other people or creates community gardens. And then, of course, there's no homeless people at all anyways, because that community would never allow that. And those homeless people all of a sudden are the best teachers to show that, thank you. You've shown compassion and giving in a world that should never have homeless people or anybody desiring anything, needing anything, food, water, nothing. Instead of talk, doesn't it drain you? It's draining for me. And somebody said, you're frustrated. I said, no. You can't imagine. My blood pressure doesn't even go up. Even when I talk like this, it doesn't even go up. I love being an expressive human being. It's fun. You don't have to lose that. You don't have to be a, holier than thou zombie walking around. You can tell jokes and drink wine and have fun. But you won't do anything to escape. You're going to do it because you're enjoying this material world, and you're going to share it. You're going to love the experience. You're going to see the opportunities that come in to experience the challenges of being human, the emotions of it all. So, are you still telling any story that separates or judges? And you know what judgment is. You know what judgment is. If there's a line anywhere of good, bad, yeah, spiritual, non-spiritual, we're all on a dense planet. We just get to choose our frequency. Are you ready to go there? If you go down in the description, you guys can take my Shift into the New Earth class. It's a master class. And I also have Conscious Manifesting Workshop. I'm starting to do workshops to have you actually look. These are shorter ones. Like my Breakthrough Fear course is a 1-year use course. You can go through it as fast as you want, but you have 1 year to sort out your own stuff. Breakthrough Fear is when you look at this and we go through everything. Where's that coming from? How is the conditioning? How are you still reacting to this? And it's breaking through that. The master class is 3 hours, unlimited 1-year use. So you get to pick the subject that you most want to work on. You get 3 hours, you're entrenched. You can play it over and over again. I ask you questions. We go through exercises. The workshop, get the notebook out. That one you're going to use for a year. You're going to play it over and over, and you're going to get a whole series of practices and things to go through. Like today, we're going to, maybe not judge anything. Tomorrow, we're going to do something completely different. And you get to be aware. It makes you aware of what you're actually manifesting. Because we want to manifest stuff. I'm like, why isn't it happening? You're creating all of it. I don't know. Why isn't it happening? Something going on here, some story, separation. I'm this, I'm that, you're not. Did you enjoy your spiritual butt kick? It's time. You don't have much more time. We've got some stuff coming up. You know this. And this is July 2020. There's some things going to happen. There are a lot more things that are going to happen. You have no reason to be afraid of anything. So some of you, when I say that, go, if you stay in the dense world and you participate in it, you're going to feel the effects of it. If you pull out of that now, you will slide into this new era, and you're going to get excited. I know some of you are excited like I am. I'm like, I love that this is all happening. No one's dying because of this. They have chosen to leave anyways. You don't have to believe that. But I believe these people that are dying of the virus are heroes. They're allowing us to shift because we ordered this big change, and because it's global, we have been allowed to go into a new space to say, we've got to change how we live and treat each other, and we have to stop arguing. Hey, put on a mask, don't put on a mask. Why do you need to argue about it? Lower density frequency, knock it off. Or stay there, that's okay, it's your choice. That's not the world I live in. Just, talk to the hand, blah, blah, blah. So I don't turn it on. When people tell me what's going on out there, I'm like, you're obviously watching the news and it's fake. You know this. It's addictive. Are you ready to go into that new earth? It's happening for a lot of people. They're excited, they're joyous. They're finding new ways to live. They're shifting into a new way of sustaining that awakening, that happiness, that joy of giving, of saying, how do we create that new earth together? Let's find those people. And it's not the ones arguing about some billionaire who's going to put a chip into a vaccine. There's another story. Does that help you? It helps no one. You are whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. That's from the Master Key System. Come on over. Free workshop for my internet marketing, training, teaching people how to create businesses that run out of their home. I've been operating out of my house for 6 years now. I've created numerous ways to change the planet, offer people tools if they choose them. I feel really good about what I do every day. And I learned how to use the material world to create that. I got training by people who are really cool, who give a crap about the world. So if you're interested, this is a free workshop, tells you how it works. And we have something really special going on now. Go down in the description. That's landriaonkka.com out there. This is landriaonkka.net. This is business.com is spiritual. Go to my website, click on the different courses and see what they are. If you guys are signed up for my Manifest Anything email list, it's down here. It's free. Once a week, I give you discount codes for all of this stuff too. Free downloads of stuff. You know what? You can't make the change if you don't use the tools. We need each other, don't we? We need each other. We really do. Life is very lonely without having that sharing. And we are not separate. Blessings to you, my friend. I send you health, wealth, joy, peace, and most of all, awakening. Namaste.